What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Pod Scum. I'm your host, Reckless Rex Ruger. That, of course, is the Freddie Mercury puppet. We're back with another amazing episode. My guest is here, and we are going to dive right in for another great episode. Here we go. What's going on, Mike?
What's up? We got it.
Yeah, we did get it. Thank God technology is making the world so much easier, right?
Did it.
So how is everything, man?
Good, man. How you doing?
I'm good. So I usually like to jump into these things, man, and just go shameless promotion, man, right off the gate, man. What's going on, man, in Michael Oliveri's world right now, music-wise?
Oh, what is going on? Just gigs here and there. Doing a cool thing. It's called Tales of the Wolf's Den.
Oh, nice.
I'm doing LEATHERWOLF songs done acoustically with cajones and cellos and violin and stuff. Pretty cool.
And is this just you?
No, it's I got people there, another guitar player, bass player, percussionist, violin and cello. Pretty cool.
And what about the so I've got some of the other stuff that I know in the past that you've been involved with that maybe you can catch you up to speed on. HailMary.
HailMary is kind of dormant right now. We haven't done anything for a couple of years now. Everybody's just scattered around around the globe, and it's kind of just, not in anybody's forefront, I guess. So,
how about the Michael Olivieri Band?
I'm recording, still writing songs and stuff, doing, just grinding it out, trying to, do what I do. Nothing too extravagant to tell you about, but I will be later in the year opening up for LA Guns, doing this Tales of the Wolf's Den thing, which is pretty cool.
Oh, that's cool. LA Guns, one of my favorites, man. They are the best, man. They really are the best. And
that'll be at the Coach House in San Juan Capistrano, California.
And while we're talking about other legendary acts that that were spawned and kind of came from the 80s, man, can you talk a little bit about your relationship, where you were, and how you processed going through the loss of the great Jack Russell? I know you had a good relationship with him.
I did have a good relationship with Jack. He had some great moments, in the van and airports and airplanes, and such a sad loss, man. Really tragic. So yeah.
He had battled a lot of health problems over the years.
Yes, he did. Yeah. One of my earliest recollections of getting to know Jack was there was a radio station called KNAC, and they had this this thing they wanted to do with me and Jack Russell. There's a big bridge in San Pedro. It's called the Vincent Thomas Bridge or something. It's freaking sky high.
Yeah.
And they wanted us to jump off of it, bungee jump, with mics and do it live on the radio. Right. So I was scared shitless, like I ain't doing that. And I went to rehearsal and I told them what KNAC wanted me to do. And they're like, you better do it, man. You got to do it. And I'm like, okay. So I didn't sleep all night. And then that morning, about what's happened, it's supposed to happen like 6 a.m. At like 5 a.m. I pull up to the bridge and there's police cars and all, it was just a mess, and traffic on this bridge, and the guy who was putting it on comes running over, and I see him running over with this look on his face, and he's shaking his head. He goes, dude, I'm so sorry. It's not going to go down, man. They're not going to let this happen. And I'm like, are you kidding me?
Yeah, you got to act like you got to act all indignant, like you wanted it to happen.
Yeah, no, we used to play. LEATHERWOLF used to do shows with Great White back in the 80s. Local and then abroad. Good times, man. Jack was a good guy, hell of a voice. And I also did the last record he did was not the last, but it was his Great Zeppelin. Volume 2, and I played on that. I played rhythm guitar and keyboards and backup vocals and stuff. So
and thankfully, before we lost him, he did get his memoir out, though.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah. So at least he leaves us with those stories and those those thoughts and those memories that he has. So that's good.
Yeah, for sure. What a
Is there
voice.
ever is there ever a memoir in Michael Oliveri? Seems like everybody writes
Yes.
books nowadays.
Well, you know, that's funny that you mentioned that because with doing this Tales of the Wolf's Den, I started writing down all my favorite Leatherwolf memories, and I've asked the guys to do that as well. Um, and just collecting all because we, you know, as when a band's together 40 years, I mean, you know, I was in the band 40 years. Dean's continuing on with it now. Um, but you know, just the stories and everything that happened. I needed 3 sheets of paper just the ideas of like, oh yeah, it's this gig or this time or
Yeah.
there's so many incredible stories. And so yeah, that would be fun, but I don't know.
And now, because you brought up Leatherwolf, I'm sure fans would always want to know. I mean, obviously things come full circle again, man. And I would be remiss if I didn't ask. I don't want to hear about it in the comment section. The classic lineup. You guys are all still around, all still alive. Is there ever a chance that we would ever see all of you guys again together?
You know, never say never. I have been talking with Dean lately. We've becoming pals again. You know, he's they just got back from Japan. They did a couple shows over in Japan, and I was keeping in touch with him while he was over there, and he was sending me pictures. Yeah, you know, we have been talking about the possibilities and the future of it. I mean, there's, you know, obviously, you know, some things to work through, but you know, we're going to get together and see what happens, but
Yeah,
I don't know.
that's exciting.
I say never say never. I
Yeah.
would certainly love to myself. That's what I told him. I go, there's no reason that we shouldn't all be doing this. We're all healthy, able,
Yeah.
still talented musicians. I certainly can't sing like I used to, but I reinvent myself as a singer. Obviously, I'm not 21 anymore, so I'm not going to be you know, have the range that I used to. But in this Tales of the Wolf's Den, I've reinvented the songs, it's pretty cool. I'm pretty excited about it. They became new to me again. You know, I keep the arrangements and the keys and everything, but the melodies do change a little bit as the instrumentation changes. And it just a song is a song. A good song is a good song. Will it piss off some metalheads? Probably, but
Yeah.
I don't care.
But when you say but when you say you reinvent the way that you're singing, what exactly have you done? Because you have, as you said, been doing this, 40 plus years, and there are a lot of guys, from that scene who haven't been able to successfully, adapt over time. And I know a lot of that is probably like the care that they take of themselves and maybe what they put their bodies through, whatever. But how have you figured out, what adjustments have you made?
I've kind of found like you could keep the integrity of the melody and alter the inversions and the notes you're hitting. Also, just singing more bluesy and not trying to outdo myself. Singing within what you got.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would rather sing things my way with the voice that I have now, as opposed to trying to do what I did when I was 21, 22, 24, 27,
Right.
whatever, I listened to some of that stuff because I've been listening back through our catalog and I'm going, holy shit.
Yeah.
I can't believe I did that. We made some pretty cool music.
Yeah, extremely. And I would certainly attribute the Triple Axe Attack to you guys. I mean, there weren't a lot of bands fucking around with 3 guitars back in the day.
No, they weren't. And I got to say, if we weren't one of the first, we were pretty much one of the first.
Yeah.
Because there was Molly Hatchet and Leonard Skinner and when we started doing it, because I was just the singer first.
Right.
I mean, I'm sorry, I was just the guitar player. We had another singer,
right.
so we had 6 people in the band, and the singers would never show up, and I would have to, get through the rehearsals, and eventually I just became the singer. But it's pretty cool. And I listen back to it, I go, wow, that's pretty innovative, the kind of stuff that he did. Me, Jeff, and Kerry would sit on the couch for hours and hours just working out harmonies and different parts, and just hours and hours. And that's, you just can't throw 3 guitar players in a room and think it's going to work, no matter how good they are. Unless they really know how to listen to each other and play as one, which I think we did. We We really we tried to make the same vibratos and the same spaces in between the notes and the same attack. You know, so I'm pretty proud of what we did for sure.
When you sit down to write a song, man, what's the process usually like for you? Like, what comes first when you write a great song? Do you hear an opening line? Do you hear a title? Do you hear a riff? Like, what's the process like for you?
Comes all different ways.
Yeah.
Maybe sit down on the piano, something come out, just like, I always try to do something that I haven't done, you know, like, where can I go right now that I haven't?
Yeah.
You know, keep it from being typical. And sometimes it'll come from a line I hear somebody say, and I go, oh, that'll make a good song. And then you work some chords, you find out how that phrasing fits in a cool melody, and then you build chords around that melody, you know.
Would you
or
not?
Sometimes it'll just come from a riff, and then you have to write some lyrics around a riff. So there's no one way to do it.
You know, do you feel like you wouldn't be so psyched as a musician if you were starting right now in 2025?
I don't know, because there's a lot more avenues to get good now than there was when I was growing up. You know, shit, you can learn anything now on YouTube or whatever. You know, when we started, it was vinyls, and to learn a riff, we would, at least I would put a rock in the middle of the record to make it go slower.
Yeah.
and then I would tune my guitar accordingly, but then I'd have to put the needle back, you know. What was that? That's how I learned. I remember that's how I learned the intro to Victim of Changes when I was a kid. The priest. Because in my head, I was like, "What are they doing? What is that?
Yeah.
I didn't figure out that it was. I didn't even put two and two together that it was open strings, that they're just doing it off open strings, you know. And I'm like, how is that working out? I'm trying to make this, and then I saw them live, and I was like, oh my God, they're not doing what I thought they were doing at all. So nowadays, I mean, you just. How do you play Victim of Changes? You know, there's somebody perfecting it, showing you note for note how to do it.
Do you remember the first band or the first song or the first artist that really got you excited? You know, is there one act or one band you could point to, man, that really got its hooks in you? You know, the moment when you said, I want to do this.
Gosh, man, because I started really early because I had older brothers and sisters. So I started, you know, just playing. My two older brothers played, and there's always acoustics in the house. So, you know, always, you know, hearing, you know, the Eagles' greatest hits for the first time when I was, you know, 7th grade or whatever. And then, you know, that kind of stuff. And I mean, we played John Denver songs and Crosby, Stills, Nash. And then when I got into high school, I started meeting a different crowd, and fell in love with Iron Maiden.
Yeah.
And you know, before that was Led Zeppelin and UFO. I was huge UFO, and then I was such a huge UFO fan. Went and saw him at the Long Beach Arena, and Iron Maiden was opening for him. And I go, "Who's Iron Maiden?" And me and Jeff Gayer went and got. I think we buy the record. We went and checked. We both fell in love with Iron Maiden, and then it was all about Iron Maiden.
Yeah.
And that was in the beginning of Leatherwolf. When I met Jeff and got into Iron Maiden at the time, and we were just a cover band playing, you know, the Scorpions, Maiden, Priest.
Right.
We must have played like Maiden only had 2 records out at the time. The first one in Killers. I think we learned every single song on both records, and you know. So it was probably Maiden.
I may have asked you this the first time that you came on, man, but you guys had such great songs, such great albums. Are you able to put a finger, because you have been in this industry for so long, like why Leatherwolf, you know, didn't achieve what the Def Leppards or the Poisons or the Motley Crues or the other bands that came out of that era like achieved? Because, you know, I equate you guys every bit like right there with those bands.
Oh, I appreciate that. I would probably say it would have to do with nobody at Island Records really took us under the wing and ran with us. Every time we went into a staff meeting at Island, there'd be like, who are these people? It'd be a whole new turnaround of people. They just didn't know what to do with the metal band, especially a band like us, because we weren't Poison and we weren't Metallica.
Yeah.
So we fell somewhere in between, and it was they didn't give us any tour support. We were on tour And I remember sometimes we would pull into sound checks, and the people at the club would go, "Yeah, guess what? Your posters just came." You know, so they didn't. So we were dealing with that kind of crap a lot, and yeah, man, nobody just really, we had Tim Heine as our manager. He's a great guy, great manager, did a lot of great things for a lot of great bands, but the stars didn't align. You know, I think we had pieces in place. I think we had really unique. I gotta get how did we do this?
Yeah, no, you're good. Oh, and Mike just bounced out of here, man, because he's playing with his buttons, man. But we are talking with Mike Oliveri, who I'm telling to pop back in again, and there he is again, man. That's all right. Technical difficulties, I leave them all in, Michael. Nothing gets edited here. Nothing. And Michael will be back in a moment, if we can get him back in here. And we don't have him back in here yet, but we will get him back in here. And I'm telling him right now to pop back out and back in again. And we will get him back in here, though, because there is no crying in podcasting. Folks, you know we've been here before. We've had the technical issues before, and we always rise to the occasion, and we will again. Nothing will be edited. I can catch you up to speed right now and just chat with you a little bit. The great Michael Oliveri is coming back in, so we will let him back in again, man. And we'll let Michael back in again. And
we got it.
I'll just share with you that while you were gone, I always remind my audience that none of this will be edited. Every hiccup stays in.
Somebody called me and it jacked up my vibe.
It happens. It does happen, man. And believe me, it isn't the first technical issue, and I've left them all in. I think for posterity's sake, you gotta.
Got you, man.
You have to.
What are you gonna break to a commercial?
Right, exactly. Yeah, I don't have that luxury. I got poor marketing just like Leatherwolf had back in the day. You know?
Right. So where were we?
So my next question, we were talking about like why Leatherwolf didn't become, as big as some of the other bands that came out of the 80s. But the next question I wanted to ask you was, and I thought about this the other day when I was watching one of those shows, The Voice or America's Got Talent. Do you put any stock in like that we can find musical stars like from any of these like TV talent shows?
I don't know. Nate Peck, who's singing for Firehouse now, he came from American Idol audition. He was a huge 80s fan, and he was because of Robbie Lochner from Jack Russell's Great White, he ended up getting the gig for that. Because he would come to the show, and Jack would have Nate come and sit in and sing Save Your Love with them.
Yeah.
Oh, look at that. Yep. We're talking about Robbie Lochner, and I swear to God, Robbie Lochner's calling me right now.
See that, man? We should have let Robbie Lochner right in this thing.
That is so funny. I wish I could show you, but Robbie's calling me right now. As soon as I said the name Robbie Lochner, that is crazy, dude.
I'm going to reach out. You know what? I'm going to reach out now and find him on Facebook Messenger and reach out to Robbie Lochner and get him on this podcast.
Do it.
Yeah. I'm going to have him on, man. Yeah.
I'm
working on it. I'm actually working right now, man, and I'm pretty close to a Stephen Piercy interview.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I will land Steven. I just had his guitar player, Eric Ferentinos, on here. So, yeah.
Okay.
I'm working hard. I'm grinding.
Sweet.
Yeah.
So where were we?
I've also had some of the guys on. I've had Jeff on before. Oh, no. I had Carrie on.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah. I do want to see like, the only reason I asked about the Leatherwolf like reunion thing, because it does always seem like everything kind of does come full circle again, man. And I feel like, I feel like at some point, every band that has broken up or gone through some stuff, it seems like the situation's been revisited again.
Yeah, and there's no reason it shouldn't be, because we were bros from 1981 was the first time we actually got. I mean, that's how many years ago is that? That's like 45 years ago, right?
Yeah, it's crazy.
45 years ago. So, I mean, I'm not a grudge holder. I mean, like I said, I've been talking with Dean. We worked out some things, and I feel like we're pals again. So that's a good thing. Whether we ever make music or not, yeah, that'd be great. But you gotta be friends with people before you know, you can't have
Yeah.
animosity, some weird shit. I mean, I guess you can. I know a lot of people are in bands with people they don't like, but what's the fun
Yeah.
of that?
Right.
You know,
That
this
sucks.
this is
Yeah.
supposed to be fun. This is enjoyable. You know, we get to do cool things. We get to go to cool places, and you want to do that with people that you can hang out and relate with and have
Yeah.
conversations about, not just like, God, if that guy just breathes one more time, I'm gonna slap him. You know? So
Another project that I saw that was mentioned online, I don't know if this is still relevant or not, man, but were you playing bass in a band called Witch?
I did their one show. They did a reunion show at the Whiskey opening for Keel, and
Okay.
Jim Warman said he retired and he didn't want to do it. So, you know, Punky called me, and I go, yeah, I'll do it. And I ended up doing it, and it actually was Pete's last gig.
Okay.
Peter Allen,
Okay.
the singer, he passed.
Okay.
Rest in peace, but great guy.
And now, when you're going to do musical projects right now, you know, there's been so much debated on, like, you know, I don't have to tell you that the music industry has changed. People's attention spans are not what they once were. When you're going to put a musical project out, is it an EP world, or does an LP still make sense?
I don't know. I like them. It's, you know, attention spans have changed. I have a concept for an EP that I proposed to Leatherwolf that I'll be doing someday, but it's like a 5-song, 5-part uh, um, concept thing. So I don't want to give it away because I don't want anybody to steal
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like EPs for sure. Why not?
But it is still feasible, though, that the LP can still have life in today's music industry.
Absolutely, man. Their
Yeah.
albums are great. I mean, I see
Yeah.
a lot of people got their album collections and all that good stuff.
I know we talked about, like, you making, like, the proper adjustments to your voice, but have you been a guy over the years that's ascribed to any type of, like, voice care regimen? Are you one of these guys that really puts a lot of stock into warming up or taking care of your throat, or are you just kind of a guy who just wings it? Yeah, you're a winger.
I did take some lessons early on when I said, okay, yeah, you're going to be the singer of Leatherwolf. And I went and saw Elizabeth Sabine. She was, at the time, gosh, she was 80, an opera singer, Australian lady, beautiful. I used a lot of her techniques that get me through. But as far as warming up, I just try not to talk a lot before a gig, you know, and sleep. You know, I'll do some humming and I'll work out the stuff, you know, before, you know, just run through my breaking point.
Yeah.
Just get that weirdness out of the way.
Yeah.
Before, so I don't have to do it on the first song. But so there's a little bit, but it's not extensive. Not one of those guys like that singer of loudness. He would go into the bathroom and like sing for like 3 hours before the gig. And like,
he's doing his best performing in the bathroom.
Yeah, man. So
have
yeah.
you had a chance, like touring, going all over the world? I imagine you've probably gotten a chance to meet, like, some of your heroes. Who's really blown you away that you've gotten a chance to meet?
One time we opened up for Halford when he was doing a solo thing.
Yeah.
We were playing at the Grove and Leatherwolf was opening. It was probably, I think, maybe 2007, something like that, 2006, 7. And he was doing a sound check. And I walked past in the hallway and their door was open. And I saw sitting on like this mannequin. It was that big leather trench coat with the spikes in it, you know, signature. And I walked by and I did the double take and I was like, ooh, that's the jacket. And I walked in and I looked at him touching it. And right behind me, I hear this voice and he goes, try it on, man. And I'm like,
no.
I'm like, oh my God, Rob Halford standing right behind me. And so I go, really, man? I put it on. It boom. It's like so heavy. And I'm so bummed I didn't have my phone on me to take a picture at the time.
Yeah.
But that was a cool memory. So I told him how much he meant to me and how cool it was to open for him. And I go, man, love playing Priest. We might even jam a Priest song tonight. And he goes, well, really? Which one? And I go, Before the Dawn. And he goes, jam it, man. We never played that. You know that song I'm talking about? It's kind of like a ballad.
Yeah.
Off,
Oh yeah. Priest was my introduction to metal. Yeah, but they mean a lot to me. So
So he goes, yeah, jam it, man. So Carrie at the time was playing in a Judas Priest tribute for fun. So he knew all the Priest tunes, and Jeff broke a string. So I'm doing this, just talking to the crowd, just trying to, kill a couple minutes. And I just said a little thing about how cool it was to open up for Halford and his, songs. That's what got me into metal. And I was playing Before the Dawn while I was talking, kind of going through the chords. And I started singing the first verse. I thought I was just going to do one verse and sing the first verse. And then it goes into that solo section, and all of a sudden Perry steps on it and he goes,
yeah.
And I was like, okay, we're doing this, man.
Yeah,
and
it
was cool.
Yeah.
And so I look over to the side of the stage, and Rob Halford got out of the shower. He was wet, and he had a towel around his waist, and he came out just to watch us play that song.
Wow, that's a huge honor. That's huge. Yeah.
He even said he was doing a radio interview that day, and I heard it. He goes, "Oh, the Orange County Legends, Leatherwolf is opening up the show. Don't want to miss it." So that was
cool. Wow. And the fact that you're called Orange County Legends by Rob Halford is pretty cool, even.
Yeah, I didn't even know you knew what Orange County was, Rob.
Yeah. He's a British boy. He knew where Orange County.
Yeah. Yeah.
And now, would you say that he's probably one of your biggest vocal influences, man, or are there others?
Oh, he's probably one of them, but Paul Di'Anno really got to me too. I really dug his tone.
Yeah,
I think that's where I get my rasp from. I kind of mimic that a little bit, that Paul Di'Anno thing. And although I don't sing like Klaus Meine, I really love his voice, but I've never tried to sound like him. When I get right down to the roots of it, like David Cassidy was the first guy that got me into like, oh, I think I want to do this. When I was like 5 years old.
Yeah.
So
the last Michael Oliveri album was Love is Contagious, right? In 2020.
That's great. That is correct. Perfect time, right? 2020 to come out without Love is Contagious, right?
Yeah. Impeccable timing. Yeah. I'm right in the middle of the major. Yeah, I'm right in the middle of it. I mean, it only came out in the middle of a major pandemic. That's all.
Right. In the beginning, we had a sold out show at this local club here. I already had it sold out, and plus I was gonna our band was gonna open up for the Ultimate Jam Night at the Whiskey that week. So it was a big week for us. We had a sold out show, and we're gonna play at the Whiskey, and it was and all of a sudden nope, that's not gonna happen.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Anyway. And so when will we see a new Michael Oliveri Band album?
I'm not sure, man. I'm not in a drastic hurry. I always say, yeah, here it is. I'm going to do it. And then I just want to make sure like a collection of songs is that like the last time they go, okay, I got a good collection here. Let's do it. It told a story. It was a nice batch of tunes. My writing's still all over the place. So to find a cohesive batch of tunes to put together, like, okay, this is a cool thing. And I also want to have the right people around, So,
are you pretty hard on yourself, like with songs like that? Are you pretty hard on yourself in the creative process, like for a song fitting the bill or fitting the criteria for one of your albums?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
yeah.
It's a weeding out process.
Yeah, like keep changing the tempos and keys and massaging it. And sometimes it's like boom, that one's done, boom. But sometimes they just don't feel quite right. And you just want to sit on them and play with them a while. That's what makes it fun.
Is the creative process harder or easier after you've been in the business for this long?
Wow, creative process. I think it gets a little harder because I'm more distracted, and just more going on in life. Like before, it was just all about music. I could find 4 hours to sit aside. And like today, the days like this, like I have my own business, and so free time is valuable. So it's harder to find the creative process because now I have the time, but do I feel creative?
Right. Right. And so how do you treat the creative process though? Are you somebody that when you want to write songs, you just let the ideas come, sparks of creativity spontaneous, or do you treat it like a job and say, I'm going to go in and sit and create music? Are you disciplined like that or no?
No, not really. But I do a lot of driving. So my voice memo on my phone is filled with ideas and hooks. And then I'd go back through and I go, oh, what was that? Listen, then I'll go, I'm going to work on that. So I have to it's hard to just like, okay, I'm going to write a song right now. What am I going to write about? I don't know. It's just too random, Unless I'm getting together with somebody and we're, hey, we're going to write a song. Let's write a song. Then it's different.
Now, was it difficult now, like when you're doing these, these sets, doing the Leatherwolf songs? Is it difficult to come up with a set list?
For the stuff I was doing, no, I came up with something that the songs that would be cohesive in the environment that I'm doing them in, and the instrumentation. Like I didn't pick Black Knight or anything,
Right.
I picked songs that would relate in this fashion, and it turns out there's a lot of good ones.
Yeah.
So. I don't remember. Like I'm doing The Calling, Hideaway, Thunder, Share a Dream, Princess of Love, Cry Out.
Yep.
More of the songs that I had more to do with writing.
Right. Now, I may have asked you this the first time, man, but on the album that you guys did the cover of Bad Moon Rising, whose idea was it to cover that song? How do you guys come up with that specifically?
I think that was Jeff. I think that was Jeff's idea. Was Jeff's idea. And he goes, well, we should do a fast version of Bad Moon Rising. I think he just came up with a riff, and we just started, I feel Bad Moon Rising. It just worked.
Yeah.
And we weren't going to put it on the record, but when Kevin Beamish was going through our stuff to, when we made our first record with Island, Kevin Beamish was going through, he came to our rehearsal and we just played him a bunch of things. And he was like, oh my God, you guys got to do that. So.
Were you guys dead set on putting a cover on there, and were there other options other than Bad Moon Rising, or did that one just click and that was instantly the one?
You know what? Kevin Beamish brought in this song he wanted us to do. Sorry, my gardeners are back there blowing shit around.
That's all right. I can hear you good.
So he came up with a song, and it's called "Show Us Your Tits," and I was like, and all the guys wanted to do it. And I was like, no, dude, we're not doing it. I'm going to draw the line on it. First of all, it's like, we're not Poison. And and second of all, I just don't see that fitting on a record with Rise or Fall, Gypsies and Thieves, Cry Out, Princess of Love, and Show Us Your Tits.
Yes.
So that's one of those things I totally put my foot down on. And, so we did a lot of covers though, Leatherwolf, because we were a cover band first.
Yeah.
So we even live we would do Achilles' Last Stand. Yeah. And we would do Watchtower, and we do some covers, but not a lot. We were more into trying to do our.
I think my question is, who originally did Show Me Your Tits?
Oh, I don't know. Some songwriter Kevin Beamish brought in this tape, and we listened to it. It was a funny song, pretty cute. Show us, show us your tits, and it was just the most stupidest song. And like and they're like, no man, we can really Leatherwolf this out. I'm like, there's no possible bit of ingredients you can put into this to make this cool. I honestly have to say, I don't want to be that band.
I honestly have to say, with all due respect to the other members in Leatherwolf, man, I got to say, man, that you win the award, though, man, for being the voice of reason, though. Thank God for you, man. Seriously.
Damn, for sure.
I mean, those guys, fucking, I think would look back now on that piece of work. And as you mentioned, with all those songs, I think they would not look back with fondness if Show Me Your Tits had made it on there.
No, probably became our hit, right? And it would have been like,
or it might have been all over MTV,
one-hit wonders. But we got songs, man. I know. We'd go on talk shows and like, well, can you play that? Show Us Your Tits song. No, but we got Rise or Fall and Cry Out and The Calling and Wicked Ways and Gypsies and Thieves and I Am the Thunder. Can we do one of those? No.
Yeah, right. You guys would become synonymous with it. I remember Janie Lane saying that he hated the fact that he wrote Cherry Pie because then their whole life just became all about cherry pie, and he resented that song.
Yeah.
I mean, it just became like, the album became, I remember him saying the album became Cherry Pie, the single became Cherry Pie, the video was Cherry Pie. He really hated the fact that he even wrote that song, I think.
I would imagine. Hey, I bet he didn't hate the bank account, though.
Right. It definitely paid the bills for a little while, man. But
yeah, it sure did.
But listen,
Still
man.
Is.
I'm glad we got a chance to do this, man. I know that I had to reschedule a bunch of times but I always love catching up with you, man. You're really one of my favorite voices, man. You're one of my favorite artists, man. And I always appreciate you, man, being generous with your time, man. Always great catching up, hearing stories, and finding out what you're up to, man. And so the thing you're doing now, reworking the Leatherwolf tunes, are you just doing this in select locations? Is this something that you'll take to more areas?
Well, I hope so. I want to get it filmed. I want to put a little package together with it. I am
Yeah.
playing, not with the full effect of it, but I am doing next Friday, the 11th, in Hollywood at 3 clubs. I'll be opening up for my old band that I sang the first record on, Soul Sign,
Okay.
Bjorn England and Rob Math, who is now in Leatherwolf. And so they have a CD release party. Their new CD is called Desert Fire, and that just
Okay.
came out. And it's pretty cool. Great music, great musicians. Mark Bowles sings for them. And I'll be opening. So I'm doing the acoustic set opening. I'll be doing a Leatherwolf set. So
Awesome. And I think the thing to take away from this that I think will really psych fans out, though, is that, talking to Dean, possible, I know you said never say never, man, but it's always exciting, man, to think of all you guys, man, back together on a stage again or doing anything.
Reach out to Dean, do a thing with him, and tell him I said let's do it.
I will. Hey, listen, believe me, I've had conversations on Facebook Messenger with Dean, and it's just been a matter of like how it was with us, scheduling, fucking missing. But I will missing each other, just the timing or whatever. But I will dig in and get Dean on here. Yeah. All I want to do is just be mentioned in the liner notes of the new album that Rexx Ruger was instrumental in getting Leatherwolf back together.
Nice.
That's all I want to be. Yeah, I just want to be a part of it.
That'll be it, man.
I just want to be a part of it, Michael. That's all. Just a little part of it.
We just might have to call the record that.
Yeah.
Right.
Call it what? What are we talking about here?
Just your name. Just like it'd be like, what does that mean?
Okay. Yeah. This will be like you're showing me your tits.
Yeah.
Yeah. Listen, it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen, man. I'm gonna say 2026, 2027. We're gonna see Leatherwolf. We're gonna see Leatherwolf again. Yeah.
Do it.
From my mouth to God's ears, man. Yeah. I appreciate you, man. Always love catching up with you, man. And we'll definitely do this again. Stay in touch, my friend.
Nice talking to you. So sorry it took so many back and forth times around to get this happening.
Oh, listen, man. That's all right, man. I do this. I only do this as a side hustle, man. So I have a day job too. I got 6 grandkids. I got shit going on too. You know what I mean? So I understand, man, when real life gets in the way, man. You know what I mean? It just does sometimes,
Hey, you have a blessed day, brother.
Yes, sir. You too, brother. We'll talk again soon, my friend. Thank you, man. Appreciate you. Later. There he goes, folks. The great Michael Olivieri. And what we will take away from that episode right there is that, yes, never say never. The door is open. Him and Dean Roberts talking again. Possibly we will see the Triple Axe Attack, all the original members still alive, still here with us. Thank God Almighty for that. And Show Me Your Tits did not make it on a Leatherwolf album, thanks to the extreme intelligence and business acumen and foresight and wherewithal of Michael Olivieri. So I think the other guys owe him a debt of gratitude because, as he said, great songs ended up on that album. And Show Me Your Tits, although Mike did say that possibly that could become their cherry pie. So who knows, man? But always great to catch up with Michael Olivieri. You can go check out his work, his amazing voice, his guitar work, on, of course, Leatherwolf, HailMary, and most recently, the Michael Olivieri Band. So there's plenty of opportunities out there on your streaming platforms to go find and enjoy what Michael Olivieri does. I've always enjoyed it, man. Truly one of the great voices in rock and roll. And I had to ask the question because, in my opinion, I think I did ask it the first time I had him on, Leatherwolf really, in my opinion, had the most amazing songs. Of course, as I said before, the Triple Axe Attack, 3 guitar players when that was way ahead of its time. Amazing songs that weren't really atypical of the 80s scene. They weren't all about chicks and cars and partying. Yeah, I mean, they were really great songwriters, really amazing musicians. And again, I mean, it sounds like Mike attributes it to just bad marketing, not a big push from the label, because it really is one of those things, a real conundrum. I've always thought when I listen to Leatherwolf, and I always think, why wasn't this band more huge? I don't even know if more huge, I even use that in the right context. Huger. That didn't sound right either, though. I feel like Leatherwolf should have been one of those bands that came out of the 80s into the 90s and survived you know, obviously like maybe, you know, struggled a bit as all the 80s metal bands did when grunge came along or whatever, but then kind of came full circle and got huge again, like your Motley Crues, like your Def Leppards, you know what I mean? You know, like your Poisons, you know, those bands still now doing it, and 20, 30,000 people are turning out to see them, you know, in droves. Those bands can still go sell out, you know, big arenas, venues, amphitheaters, that kind of thing. I feel like Leatherwolf should have been right there. But in my mind, as I told Michael, they are. So if you're a Leatherwolf fan, that's probably where you have them in your mind and in your own heart as huge rock stars. And they are. To just go back and listen to those songs. They're absolutely amazing, man. So I've gushed over Michael and the boys enough. I will be making it my personal mission to get one Dean Roberts, drummer for Leatherwolf, on this show. And I'm going to mend fences, build bridges, and do whatever I can to make sure that Leatherwolf, in its original format, all original members, and no disrespect to Keith Adamiak, who I've had on the podcast, who is doing a great job fronting the current Dean Roberts version of Leatherwolf. But still, I think fans would love to see, you know, the original lineup, you know, the classic lineup, if you will, back together again. So we're going to make it happen, folks. We're going to make it happen right here on Pod Scum. You're going to see it. I don't know what we'll do. We'll get some kind of a campaign. You know, we'll drum up interest. That I can say. We'll get each and every single one of those guys on here. I've had Michael on a few times. I've had Carrie on. I'll run down all of them. God damn it! I'll run down all of them. You know how your boy Rexx gets down, man. Once I get once I get you in the crosshairs, I get the tunnel vision. I set a goal for myself. It happens, and I'm a huge Leatherwolf fan. And shout out to my friend, my childhood friend, Sean. Also a huge Leatherwolf fan. I want to give him a shout out on the show, man, because we grew up loving hard rock and heavy metal together. And in our neighborhood where we grew up, a lot of our friends and acquaintances were into those bigger bands. But Sean and I really dug even deeper into the Leatherwolves, into the LA Guns, into the bands that maybe didn't crack the upper echelon and become those huge MTV darlings that a lot of those other bands did. But make no mistake, when you really dig in and you find those bands like Leatherwolf, it's truly like finding, it's like discovering gold. So I would implore people to go back and check out those Leatherwolf albums, and of course check out what Michael's doing now with HailMary recently, which he says is on a bit of a hiatus right now, and of course the Michael Olivieri Band. Great songs, just an amazing guy, an amazing musician, an amazing voice. So now I go into shameless plug mode, and I let you guys know to make sure to follow Pod Scum and Off the Couch Boxing on Facebook. The Facebook page is actually Off the Couch Boxing and Pod Scum. Off the Couch Boxing for all your pugilistic needs. If you're into the fight game, check that podcast out. There's updates on the Facebook page on that podcast, as well as Pod Scum. If you're into the music, arts, and entertainment, if you're into both, double whammy, even better. Tap into both of them. And of course, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell on this channel. You can stay tapped in with both, 2 separate playlists. I would suggest you dive into both. There are amazing conversations with people from the fight game and in the boxing world and in the music and arts and entertainment world. So I'm pulling double duty. That's why I'm the hardest working man in show business. Obviously, I've got Pops to thank for that. It should be undeniable, even to the untrained eye, that you are looking at Diamond David Lee Roth Jr. You're looking at the smoldering good looks. You're looking at the luscious blonde locks, and you're saying, yep, you know what? I do see it. You are Diamond David Lee Roth Jr. And my attorneys have assured me that DNA testing is very close to being proved conclusively beyond a shadow of a doubt. But we've known it all along, haven't we, folks, that you are looking at the son of glam, the front man for the band, the peanut butter to your jam, Mr. Wham Bam, thank you, ma'am, adored by millions of fans, wop bop a loo bop a wop bam bam, shazam, hot damn, cha-ching, cha-ching, that kid can sing, damn, he's got star power, look at that face. Well, I owe it all to Pops, man. Inherited legendary status is still legendary status nonetheless, whether you inherit it or not. So I'm hoping to have a teary-eyed reunion with Pops in August when Diamond David Lee Roth will be dropping into upstate New York and playing a solo gig. I will be there. I'm not holding my breath because really up to this point, Dave has really been a deadbeat dad. But hey, a guy can still hope. A guy can still dream. He can still keep love in his heart, man, even at 52 years old. Maybe, just maybe, it'll be a father and son reunion. Let's keep our fingers crossed. And remember to stay tapped in to Off the Couch Boxing and PodScum. And also remember to take it easy and keep it sleazy.